How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tear Talk. Guys, quick discussion. We're going to examine today an incident that happened at Avenal State Prison. That's out in California. It offers some important lessons about civilian staff safety and correctional environment. So on August 7th, so I'm a little behind on this one. On August 7th at 11:40 a.m., a female academic instructor, she entered a staff restroom and encountered inmate Michael Andrade, who had been waiting with an improvised weapon. So now within moments, he had grabbed her by the neck and pressed the sharpened implement to her throat. What happened next demonstrates both the vulnerability of civilian staff and the critical importance of personal safety devices. This instructor managed to activate her personal body alarm while under direct threat, and that decision likely saved her life. So I want to walk us through what actually happened in those crucial moments. The teacher finds herself alone with an inmate who clearly planned this encounter. He had manufactured a weapon and positioned himself in that restroom deliberately. She's grabbed. She's got a weapon at her throat, but she manages to activate her personal body alarm. This alarm draws another educator who hears the commotion and responds immediately. The teacher breaks free. Andrade flees the scene and custody staff apprehend him as he attempts to leave the education area. So he's now housed in the restrictive housing unit while the incident's being investigated. Okay, so this situation could have escalated in numerous dangerous directions. The fact that it didn't speak to both the teacher's quick thinking and the effectiveness of the safety systems in place. So this incident highlights something we need to acknowledge in corrections. Civilian staff face unique vulnerabilities that require specific safety considerations. Academic instructors, counselors, medical staff, and visitors don't have the same training or situational awareness as custody personnel, yet they're often working in close proximity to inmates. So restrooms in particular represent challenging spaces from a security perspective. They're necessary facilities, but they're also areas where visibility is naturally limited and staff can find themselves isolated. This creates opportunities that individuals with harmful intent can exploit if proper protocols aren't in place, like Michael Andrade. It looks like this was all pre-planned. He had a weapon, had his target, knew exactly, when she's going to use the bathroom probably. Maybe it's caught within her routine, and he waited. What's important to understand is that this wasn't a random encounter. The inmate had time to manufacture a weapon, select a location, select a target, and wait for the opportunity. That suggests there were gaps in both supervision and security awareness that allowed this situation to develop. And guys, this inmate was out to sexually assault her 100%. He was out to that's my opinion. Thank God none of that happened. But my opinion was he was out to sexually assault this female staff member. And the thing about corrections, guys, you got to be very wary of your routine. Your routines can be very predictable. And if there's an opportunity, inmates do look at the routine. So maybe the staff member uses the bathroom the same time every day, and the inmate knew, you know what, I could take advantage of this. And somehow he made it to the education area with a weapon. Now, not all weapons are made of metal. Some weapons are made of plastic. So even if the inmate had to go from his unit to the education area, it may not have, if he had a weapon, it may not have been detected by the metal detector. And I believe they should be pat frisked before they go into the education area, but inmates can be very crafty in how they hide things. And I don't think they're stripping every inmate at that point who goes into the education area. But I'm sure certain procedures will change now when this happens to just be a little bit more alert. It's sad. This is basically inmates. We develop systems. They find ways to circumvent it. But as we go through this, I think there should be some other measures that we put in play that can strengthen our prevention. So I want to mention something about the personal body alarms. That's why I wanted to talk about this. We don't have them where I'm located, but I think this is a great tool, and that's why I wanted to do this video real quick. So this is a personal body alarm. You can see it either clipped on someone's clothing, maybe, or wrapped around someone's hanging off someone's neck. I wouldn't advise that. I mean, with officers with the radios that put the wire, it's like, nah, we don't do that because the chance you can get strangled. But I do like it being clipped somewhere on the clothing. But I want to talk about this device. So let's talk about the device that made the difference in this case. Personal body alarms, or alarms for duress, are becoming standard equipments for civilian staff and correctional facilities, and this incident shows exactly why. So it'd be kind of similar to a whistle, but these things also have GPS. There's a lot more than just the sound it emits. It could have location tracking, all that stuff. Basic models are straightforward. They clip to clothing or attach to keychains, or in this case here, some people wear it around the neck. I don't know how it's worn in California. But when they're activated, they produce a loud alarm, typically between 120 to 130 decibels. That's loud enough to cut through ambient prison noise and immediately alert nearby staff that someone needs help. More advanced systems integrate with facility communication networks, sending alerts directly to center control. So that's where the shift commander is. And that's great because he's in a position to quickly get resources out to where it's needed. So the more information he has, the better to direct his staff that's underneath him. And it often provides location data. When every second counts, knowing exactly where help is needed can significantly reduce response times. And the key factor is that these devices need to be accessible even under extreme stress. This instructor demonstrated remarkable presence of mind by activating her alarm while being physically threatened. That kind of quick thinking under pressure can mean the difference between a close call and a tragedy. Now, this incident offers several lessons for correctional facilities thinking about civilian staff safety. First, visibility and communication are crucial. When civilian staff move into areas with limited oversight, there should be protocols for letting others know their location and expected duration. So, yes, guys, I know it may be embarrassing to ask for permission to go to the bathroom or tell someone you're going to the bathroom, but this is for your safety. The officer should know where you are at, and there should be policies for the civilian staff to ensure that they are letting custody know that they are going into these areas. So custody could be a little bit more vigilant because those areas could be a bit more out of sight. With that said, facility design also plays a role. Staff areas need to balance privacy with security considerations. That might mean sight lines, monitoring systems, or controlled access that ensure spaces are clear before use. Now, with that said, there should be a policy for custody that maybe before the staff member goes to use the bathroom, they have to get it has to be unlocked by custody staff. So this way, it's only one person in there at a time. And you kind of see that at restaurants sometimes. It's crazy, a restaurant being as secured as this, but you go in, hey, can I get the key? And then the key kind of goes in with you. And then you kind of know that there's only one person in there, but staff should be able to check it, make sure it's cleared, and then allow for the civilian to use the bathroom. And again, it's just a process for safety. That's all. Because if that protocol was in place, this incident would have been totally different. So again, the notification matters, but more than that, custody should be checking to see if that secured area is clear, especially if it's out of their sight. Again, if you leave that door open all day freely, then anybody could walk in there the moment you're distracted. So, I mean, that could be another thing. Maybe this inmate also has some people on the side helping him, distracting the officer, distracting staff in one area so he could sneak into the bathroom, because the staff bathroom should be a heavily guarded area. So I don't know, maybe there's more involved. Maybe they want to look into if anyone distracted staff, which allowed the inmate to access that bathroom. That's why, again, that protocol be placed for not just letting me know where you're at, but let me go clear the area first to make sure it's safe for you to go in there. So training is equally important. Civilian staff need to understand both the proper use of safety equipment and situational awareness specific to correctional environments. They're not custody officers, but they need enough knowledge to recognize potential risks and respond appropriately. Finally, there's the question of inmate supervision and contraband control. The fact that an inmate was able to manufacture a weapon and position themselves for an ambush suggests areas where security protocols might be strengthened. So again, I've got to find out what the weapon was made of, see what area of vulnerability, and how the inmate make it from point A to point B with the weapon, and then revisit policies and procedure. If it's a metal weapon, that's tough, because a metal weapon, to make it from point A to point B without going through a metal detector is one thing, or the person could have made the weapon in the education area and left it there and just had it accessible when he was ready to act out his plans. Maybe he didn't have to carry it from point A to point B. Maybe it was already there, and maybe that's something that needs to be looked at. Maybe there was some idle time, or he wasn't being looked at, and maybe he made a weapon and left it there and then didn't have to worry about passing up anything and just, had it available in that moment. And then maybe, see how the PAFRIS works. Because again, you're going into a civilian area. Are we making sure we at least pat frisk every inmate. But I don't know. I think protocol is going to strengthen here. So what happened at Avenel reminds us that correctional facilities are inherently dangerous environments, and that danger extends to everyone who works there, not just custody staff. The good news is that proper equipment, training, and protocols can significantly reduce these risks. This instructor's experience, while traumatic, provides valuable insight into what works under pressure. Her personal alarm functioned as designed. Other staff responded appropriately, and custody personnel secured the situation. The systems work even though the initial security breakdown allowed the incident to occur. For other facilities, this case offers concrete lessons. That's why I did this video about civilian staff safety, the importance of personal safety devices, and the need for comprehensive security awareness training for all personnel working in correctional environments. I'm also going to push policies too. I think there's policies that should mandate for civilian staff to tell custody where they're going, and then custody to make sure they're clearing those areas that are out of sight. And again, I'm Anthony Gangi, guys. I just wanted to give out some information. And as always, guys, stay safe.